Hello everybody, this is Bradley from Politics UK. Now in this video I'm going to be focusing on the Welsh elections. We've had most of the seats come in now and it's very clear we're going to have a Plaid and Labour coalition, but the big breaking news and the thing that really sums up how today has been even worse for the Welsh Labour Party than expected. First Minister Eluned Morgan has lost her seat in the Welsh Senedd. So if we explore the results where they currently stand on our graphics, we have Plaid on 30 seats. It is clear that they are going to be the largest party. They are outperforming their vote share in the seats recorded so far. Reform are about where we expected them to be, but Labour underperforming by 2 or 3%. And Plaid overperforming by 2 or 3%. As I called out in our projection video before polls opened, Labour were on a crash course, as last minute Labour voters were switching to Plaid. So for Wales, this squeeze bringing them to just below that 12% threshold has cost them seats all across the country. Now I do think they will end up just about on double digits, and I did predict they'd be on around 11 seats, and that is potentially where they're going to end up. But this lady right here has lost her seat. Coming into this election, she was the Welsh First Minister. Now, bigger picture, like I said, we did have Plaid sitting at around 30% coming into this. I do think it might balance out and they'll probably end up sort of 36-35% once the rest of the seats do come in. However, we have definitely seen a last minute squeeze against the Green Party, against Labour, that's actually cost them both quite a few seats, to be fair, that has pushed Plaid into this position where they are picking up now a couple of extra 6th place seats that they wouldn't have expected. And I mean, yeah, coming into this we predicted that it would be a Plaid and Labour coalition government with support from the Greens potentially, and that does look like exactly what we are going to end up with in Wales. So massively positive night for Plaid, and honestly we're not going to sit here and say it's a negative night for Reform. They are sitting, if anything, above where we expected them to be. They've just been with this Dehont system, a bit like Labour, quite unlucky with where they've picked up seats. If we take a look at the gap between the vote share and seats won, Plaid have a slightly bigger gap than Reform do, which means basically the Plaid vote has just been slightly more efficient. But the Plaid vote is also higher. So again, I don't think it was ever in question that Plaid would be the biggest party. I said that in a prediction video and knew that would be the case. But I also said that both Reform and Plaid will sit between 30 and 38 seats. I thought Reform might be on the lower end of that, maybe 32, with Plaid sort of pushing up 38. I now think Plaid will probably hit the 40s once all of these seats are in, at the expense of maybe 2, 3, 4 seats from Labour. Conservatives have actually put in a pretty decent performance. I said it'd be a good night for them if they get double digits. Obviously way down on the last election when they were in the mid-20s, so not a good night. But relative to where it could have been, they're just about close enough to that 11%, 12% window where you will at least be picking up seats. It would have been very easy if they were on 8% to sort of be down there with the Green Party on 2%. Lib Dems, it doesn't look like they're going to pick up a seat, and if they do, it's going to be in one of these last constituencies. Their vote share is also lower than expected. We thought they'd be closer to 5%. So again, maybe we are seeing a bit of a squeeze from these left-wing parties coming over to Plaid right at the last minute. And it is actually to the detriment of them. I think the left bloc is potentially going to be slightly smaller than it could have been because of this vote all going to Plaid. However, Plaid themselves are definitely exceeding expectations. So looking at Sky, this is how Eluned Morgan lost her seat. The Labour Party and the 6 candidates under the Labour badge on the ballot, they only picked up 7.3% of the vote. That is not enough to pick up that 6th seat, which I think, looking at these numbers, Reform probably picked up. Oh no, actually Plaid picked up the 6th seat on this one. So yeah, Plaid getting 3 seats in this constituency, 2 for Reform, 1 for the Tories, who picked up the 4th place seat there. So while I appreciate the full count across Wales is not yet complete, we do know what the picture is going to be. It is going to be this Plaid Cymru government alongside Labour, supporting, and the Greens supporting as well, where they are able to pick up seats. So yeah, that is basically Wales in this election. I'm really happy with how our prediction model sort of fared with this, to be honest. We saw this in the 2024 general election. I think we need to start baking this in probably though, that actually when we see a late crash in the Labour vote share leading up to the election day, we should probably start accounting for that in the final projections, because this is now the second time we've seen it. So, and I think this comes down to the fact that actually there's not a lot of people very infused by the Labour Party at the moment. This last minute change is being driven by the fact that voters just aren't particularly infused by Labour. They knew that Labour were not going to fare well, and it's almost become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because once the voters lose faith in you as a party and they know you can't win anymore, why would they vote for you? Why would they not go and vote for the winner? And it was clear that Plaid were in pole position to beat Reform. So yeah, I think the only takeaway from this is we probably need to start applying a little bit more of a squeeze in our models where it is a clear 2-horse race. And equally, from a couple of results in Scotland we'll take a look at, when you have a bit of an underdog party, a lot of people will in the end squeeze squeeze for that underdog who has a chance in a seat, as we saw the Green Party in Scotland. But we'll go over all of that in the future. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a great one. Hope you've been enjoying all of the election coverage on both TV, on this channel, and many others, I'm sure, as well. As someone who does this as a hobby with a full-time job elsewhere, I would massively appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does just mean a lot, and the support recently has absolutely blown me away. But guys, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.